with all the new information coming out on Borderlands 4, I'm glad to say that it looks like a lot of the bad blood, so far at least, has been getting corrected. And I know that I'm not one of the bigger channels right now, would really like to be, but for anybody who's somehow watching this first and wondering what the hell am I talking about of bad blood, well, two main things that come to my mind is that one of the major people for Gearbox uh, opened their mouth of the game being $80 at base, which was a real stinker. And the second one for me personally was everything I was hearing about Wonderlands. And I did not like what I heard. So I'll admit, when Borderlands 4 was revealed to be in the works, I was not as excited as everyone else. And so I have been, I would say, more pessimistic and cautious when it comes to the excitement and the hype about it. And I'm glad to say that it's been slowly and surely being corrected. Maybe not everything, but definitely I'm glad to be proven wrong on more things in Borderlands 4 that has been shown so far. I'm really hoping it keeps on this upward trend for me, because I personally enjoyed Borderlands 2 and 3. It's gameplay specifically for 3. I'm going to be clear on that. And I would definitely love to play more Borderlands, especially with all that we have seen so far and all that we haven't seen, making it look even more exciting. Now, do I still have some concerns? I will admit yes, but I will also counterpoint them by stating right now that the concerns I have left, most of them are not so major that it feels like a deal breaker for me. Am I worried about returning to a mild splash meta? Kind of, yes. I genuinely think I saw one of those, was it class mods or like set booster things? What replaces the artifacts having area of effect damage as its own damage boost, which, if I remember right on my side, for Borderlands 3 was a major thing because you could get both weapon damage and area of effect damage boosts on your artifact and your class mod. Is it a deal breaker for me? I'm going to be completely honest. No. While I'm still lightly worried about being able to farm the legendaries for even just acceptable rolls, let alone the god rolls, I like all the other players who have been keeping track of Borderlands 4 so far, already know that the big Encore machine is supposed to help with that by letting you just immediately start the encounter again without having to log out, come back in, and deal with loading screens. So unless like the developers like catch something that's really stressful to it, it feels like it's definitely going to be up to the players to thoroughly test this and see really how well the drop rate is for some of these. Because let's remember, while I'll admit, I come from the grind set of Borderlands 2, the chase, we want it to be rare, but we also have to accept it got a little too out of hand with certain items in Borderlands 3 and Wonderlands. When the combinations got so high, your chance of actually getting a desired roll, usually the god roll in this case, was literally going into the 1 in said billions. That is getting crazy. You could go possibly years without getting the version you wanted in the certain cases for Borderlands 3 and Wonderlands, the class mods and artifacts. I'm definitely interested in seeing just how well the drop rate is on its own and how well the Encore machine will rectify this problem. Besides my minor concerns, I want to hop over to something that I consider more positive, a hopeful outcome at least, and that is with the new movement mechanics, grappling, climbing, dashing, and gliding. I really do want them to be utilized and necessary throughout most of the game instead of being just a requirement only far and few in between. We've already seen it at least with the first vault that has been revealed in the game. Whether it's the first one you actually run through, who knows. But the boss in that vault has a moment where they basically play that the floor is lava and you have to use the grapple to go into a higher platform and try to tear it down so you can go back to a normal fight. I'm really hoping that this isn't like a one-off thing or that it's just forgotten for like 7 boss fights in a row and then magically the 8th one after that has another mechanic similar to it. I really do hope that these mechanics, these movement abilities, are more of an actual necessity in the game instead of being placed just because it's the latest fad. As much as I enjoy Warframe, it is a game I've been heavily playing. This is going to be a good example because in Warframe, it does have a really enjoyable parkour system where you can bullet jump, you can bound from wall to wall. But if I had to be completely honest, it has not been utilized at all. There has not been a single enemy or a single boss encounter that actually, in my eyes, forces the player to utilize the parkour system to get out of the way. There is no boss in Warframe that basically does away with the floor with only floating walls leading to another platform for you to bounce off from to make it to the next phase. There has not been a boss in Warframe like that. If they start adding those in though, I'll admit I'm going to positively flip my lid because that's going to be great. But without such a incentive to actually use it, it has been a little lackluster on the parkour side for Warframe, which, while it still helps the game feel really good because you have the option to do this, it's always kind of left an itch that I haven't been able to scratch in games because there's been no necessity. A boss hasn't really demanded it from the player, or at least in the games I've played, because I know I actually haven't played a lot. My library is very small. So I'm hoping Borderlands really does double down on requiring this. I'm hoping that the enemies in the higher levels, maybe their tactics or maybe by their sheer numbers, force the player to really utilize this dashing from in and out, maybe dashing to just get some distance. I don't know, gliding from above to rain hellfire with a rocket launcher. All in all, though, it really does seem like there has at least been an attempt to rectify most of the pain points in previous Borderlands games. Maybe not all, and maybe not perfectly, but I am at least glad to see that there has been an attempt so far. And I really do hope that this keeps proving my pessimism wrong again and again, because like I've said before, I, like many other people, have enjoyed Borderlands as a game. Maybe not its story in some parts, but as a game, I have enjoyed Borderlands for the time I've played it. In fact, actually, I can say it like this. I haven't chosen any other character yet, not because I don't find them boring, but actually because I haven't had my fill of even a singular character yet. I'm still trying to hunt for certain gear on Moe's when I'm not taking breaks that I don't feel like I want to jump ship to another character yet. There's still so many more other weapons I want to try. There's still some perks on class mods I want to get. And yeah, that's maybe a bit of a grind that's been on for too long. But even then, I'm still having fun with some of these hunts all these years later. And the payoff, sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. But the fact is, I'm still hunting to see something, even for a singular character. I want more Borderlands, even if I haven't finished my plate on the other games. If Borderlands 4 keeps going on the up and up like this, I would enjoy making more videos on it as well, talking about it and maybe, hopefully, even playing it. I really want my pessimism to be proven wrong here because I have enjoyed playing Borderlands. And now for the final part, as a little bit of sequel bait. At the start of this video, I mentioned that most of my concerns with this were minor. I do have one that in my eyes is a potentially big one and very much something that I have not seen been mentioned, or at least in a blatant enough way that I can see it be mentioned, or hear more like it, sorry. And I'm going to save that for the next video. I know basically right now my audience is either tiny or non-existent. The views on my videos say it as simple as that. But I really, really do want to bring it up, not as a way to insult Borderlands, but I feel with this, it could make Borderlands even better if I articulate this correctly, and hopefully if it is heard.